Hello everyone, and welcome to this showcase and review video for Factory Town. This game was recently officially released with this 1.0 version, and after playing it for several hours, I wanted to pass on my thoughts to you. So if you're thinking of purchasing this game, keep watching for some things that may help you decide. Factory Town is a town building and management game with a heavy focus on resource gathering and automation of transport and production facilities aimed to produce goods to ultimately grow your world's population. The game has a very laid-back and relaxing feel to it. There are no time pressures nor enemies to fight, so you can just focus on building. This type of game is a major time sink and can be highly addictive as you constantly evaluate limits in your supply chains, dream up and test out new production setups, and optimize your towns. Throughout the game, you'll have control over multiple towns, where you'll focus on providing goods to the citizens to grant them happiness, which will then, in turn, allow you to grow your world even larger. A longer-term objective is provided for custom games to construct an in-game temple that can be used to perform research. However, there is technically no endpoint to the game, and you can keep playing each map you create as long as you'd like, regardless of the game mode you're in. If you're interested in making facility layouts for pure efficiency and output, then you can play the game for full-out optimization. Or if you'd rather take an even more relaxed approach, you can view the game from a model town perspective. There's a great deal of charm in the graphics and presentation, and it's fun to approach the game like having your own model train set where you can build and decorate. This makes it feel like much more than just a game and more like your own creation. There is a campaign mode with 8 different missions available, including a tutorial as part of the first campaign map that you will not want to miss. Separate from campaign mode, you can create a custom game where you have a tremendous amount of control over the size of the map, the amount of natural resources it contains, and the geographical features that are present. You can have different segments with flatter plains, mountains and plateaus, rivers and large lakes, islands, and deserts, among other available features. With a custom game, you can select to have an infinite map, where the world can be as large as you desire, based on the number of land tiles purchased while in-game. And there is also a sandbox mode, where you have the freedom to experiment and build anything you can imagine within the game for testing purposes or just for fun. And it's all free, costing no resources, and not requiring any tech level unlocks. Within the game, you are not limited to the ground level, and can build things in 3-dimensional space. You can piecemeal build pathways and other structures on hillsides and over waterways. Consistent with the laid-back nature of the game, you can build just about anything without having to worry about structural supports, which makes it easier to focus on your designs without a game mechanic that could potentially prevent you from doing what you want. However, there are structural supports available for the aesthetics to make things look realistic if you desire. And with 3-dimensional building, gravity plays a role in the transport of goods, where you can leverage chutes to quickly move items downhill. And gravity also impacts minecarts as they move along rails, adding just a hint of realism to the game visuals. The gameplay consists of the following elements. You'll gather resources, including several types of ores and trees, with buildings like the mine and forester. You'll then transport these resources and other items that you create to wherever they're needed via transportation options like chutes and conveyor belts, wagons and caravans, minecarts and trains, boats and cargo ships, and even airships. The items are sent to different production buildings like the food mill, lumber mill, workshop, and animal pasture, where you'll convert the raw materials into intermediate or final products. You'll then transport items to different turn-in buildings like the food market and general store, where they are consumed by your townspeople to grant them happiness. You're encouraged to produce a wide variety of items to grant enough happiness to level up each of your town areas, granting you additional population, which will then give you more workers to perform more tasks. So you're continually motivated to create many different items versus focusing on what may otherwise be the single most efficient option. Advancement to the game is handled via tech levels, which requires various research items that are produced in similar fashion to other goods. You'll start off with basic technology and then advance through different stages, which will unlock items, buildings, and capabilities as you go. And of course, a lot of your time will be spent not only building facility setups, but also continually revisiting what you've created to check in, tinker with them, and optimize them. Your first couple of hours with this game will be spent getting familiar with the different items, production buildings, and transport options that are available. You'll also learn the hotkeys you'll need to open up quick menus, manipulate items, and overall play the game more efficiently. Playing through all of the available campaign maps is definitely a big overall time commitment, and you will inherently see just about everything the game has to offer if you do them. But by the time you get to the 6th or 7th campaign map, the games can take a really long time to complete. For reference, playing through all 8 campaign maps took me over 80 total hours. But this duration will vary widely person to person. Each campaign map has a set of victory conditions that requires you to reach a certain tech level based on the amount of research you complete, and you also need to produce a certain number of select items. The amount of time it takes you to complete each campaign map is highly dependent on how aggressive you are in achieving those goals. If you have limited playing time and feel like you don't necessarily have 100 plus hours to dedicate to the game, but you still want to experience it, I would recommend the following to get the most value out of your money. Definitely start off with the first campaign map, so you can go through the tutorial and get a good feel for the game mechanics and controls. Afterward, you might consider doing another campaign map or two. Each campaign map starts you out a little further along with technology advancements and provides you with generally better starting facilities. And each campaign map also showcases a little bit more of the technology tree, spoon-feeding parts of the game to help you learn without getting overwhelmed. On the first few campaign maps, starting a new game over again can feel liberating, because you won't have to live long-term with any potential mistakes you made in your facility setups as you were learning and figuring out the game for the first time. However, in the later campaign maps, it can feel slightly deflating to repeatedly start over again each time. Each successive campaign map takes a larger amount of time as they appropriately drive you deeper into the game, and you might naturally become more attached to a world the longer you play in it. So instead of playing these later campaign maps, after you've done a couple of initial campaign maps and you feel comfortable with how the game works, consider creating your own custom game that you can then focus all of your efforts and attention on. Another motivation to create a custom game is that there are terraforming options available where you can reshape the terrain as you desire, but these options are not available in the campaign maps. When creating a custom game, you should consider choosing the flat option for your starting biome. Unlike the sandbox mode, a custom flat map is not completely flat, so things will still look natural. Avoiding larger mountains and plateaus will give you a much easier time building things and give you more space to stretch out. Also consider selecting the smooth starting area for the same reasons, to give you an easier time in the beginning of the game as you place initial facilities in your starting town. The infinite map size is the best choice, as you have control over which land tiles are unlocked and how big your world will eventually be as you play. So now hopefully you know what to expect if you purchase this game and have a good idea if you'll like it or not. This type of game can be relatively complex, and that's part of the fun and appeal for them. So recognize it will take a little while to sit down and learn the lay of the land with game features, mechanics, and the UI layout. But it is a pretty rewarding experience when you see everything come together. All the people moving about, and wagons and caravans, items and conveyor belts, it really feels alive and looks really cool. This is a great overall entry into this game genre if you've never tried it out before. I had a really fun time playing through this, and this is a game I'll definitely revisit in the future from time to time to enjoy what it has to offer. I always like the idea of having a model train set, and this game definitely is one that helps scratch that itch, providing a lot of room with the map size and freedom to place things where you want to make your own custom thriving world. And so that's all for this video. Thanks for watching until the end. If you enjoyed this showcase and would like to see more content, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching.